I never thought I'd end up in a place like this, handcuffed to a metal table in some windowless FBI interrogation room in Lower Manhattan. The kind of spot where dreams go to die under fluorescent buzz. My best friend, the one I'd bled for in boardrooms and back alleys, just sold me out to save her own skin, framing me for a $50 million embezzlement that wasn't even my idea.
And the kicker?
As the agents droned on about wire fraud and conspiracy, all I could think was how I'd make her pay slow, deliberate, until she begged for the mercy she never showed me. It started 6 months ago, but the real hook sank in that rainy Tuesday night when I caught her hunched over my terminal, fingers flying across the keys, wiping clean the digital trail that could have saved us both. "Lucia," she'd whispered, her voice like silk over razor wire. "Trust me, this is for your own good."
Yeah, right.
Trust the woman who'd already buried my career once to cover her affair with the CEO. The rain hammered the penthouse windows like it had a personal grudge, turning the New York skyline into a smeared watercolor of lights and shadows. I was sprawled on the leather sectional in my Soho loft, nursing a glass of overpriced bourbon that tasted like regret, when my phone buzzed with a text that flipped my world upside down. "We need to talk."
Now. E.
Evelyn. My ride or die since freshman year at NYU. The sharp-tongued shark who'd clawed her way up Wall Street right alongside me. We'd built empires together, me crunching the numbers as a mid-level analyst at Vanguard Capital, her schmoozing clients as a rising star in client relations. As sisters in arms. Or so I'd thought. The kind of bond forged in all-nighters fueled by Red Bull and ruthless ambition, where we'd laugh about the old boys club that tried to box us out, then plot our takeover over late-night dim sum in Chinatown. But that text? It wasn't the usual banter. It was laced with urgency, the kind that screams shit hit the fan. I slammed the glass down, grabbed my trench coat, and bolted into the storm, hailing a cab that reeked of wet dog and desperation. The ride to her Upper East Side apartment felt eternal, the wipers slapping rhythm like a countdown to doom. She yanked the door open before I could knock, her blonde bob plastered to her forehead, eyes red-rimmed like she'd been crying or snorting something to keep the edges sharp. "Get in," she hissed, pulling me into the marble-floored foyer that screamed old money she hadn't earned yet. "What the hell? Eve, it's midnight, and you're texting like the world's ending." She paced the living room, all floor-to-ceiling views of Central Park that she'd furnished with Daddy's credit card. Ironic, since her old man was a disgraced banker who jumped from a balcony during the '08 crash. "It's worse than that." "Sit down." I didn't. I crossed my arms, the water dripping from my coat pooling at my feet. "Spit it out." She stopped, her manicured nails digging into her palms. "The Qatar deal. It's fucked." My stomach dropped. The Qatar deal, $200 million in sovereign wealth funneled through Vanguard for infrastructure investments that were really just a slush fund for some emir's yacht habit. I'd flagged the irregularities months ago, shell companies nested like Russian dolls, transfers bouncing through Cayman accounts faster than a Ponzi scheme. But Evelyn had waved it off. "Loosen up.
Luce.
This is how the big boys play. We're in or we're out." And I'd caved. Because she was right, we were the underdogs. 2 women in their 30s clawing for VP spots in a firm run by golf buddies who high-fived over sexist jokes. So I'd buried the red flags, cooked the books just enough to make it look clean. A felony. Sure. But we'd split the bonus, a cool $1 million each. Enough to buy my mom a brownstone in Brooklyn and finally get Evelyn out from under her trust fund guilt.
Now.
Her face was ashen. The auditors found something. Not everything, but enough. They're tracing it back to the wire room. And guess whose logins on the approvals? Mine, I whispered, the bourbon turning sour in my gut. Hers too.
But she didn't say it.
Instead, she grabbed a tablet from the coffee table, swiping through encrypted files with trembling hands.
I
might have a way to redirect it. Redirect?
Eve.
That's tampering. That's prison, she snapped, her voice cracking like thunder outside. For both of us. But if we shift the metadata, make it look like a junior analyst glitch, some intern we can pin it on, they'll chase ghosts. You'll be clear.
We.
But she said you'll. My pulse thrummed in my ears. What about you? Your prints are all over the client meetings. She avoided my eyes, fiddling with a diamond bracelet that caught the lamplight like a lie. I've got leverage. Remember that tape from a holiday party? The one with Harlan drunk dialing his mistress? I can trade it for immunity. Plausible deniability.
Luce.
It's the only play. Immunity. The word hung there, toxic as carbon monoxide. She'd sell out the CEO to save her ass. And I'd be the sacrificial lamb? No, we'd agreed. Ride or die. But Evelyn wasn't done. She stepped closer. Her perfume, Chanel No.
5.
The scent of boardroom conquests, cloying in the humid air. Look, I know this sucks. But you're the numbers girl. They'll believe it was you overworked, stressed, maybe popping Adderall like candy. I can spin it. Hell, I'll even testify on your behalf. Say you were just following orders. Following orders. Like I was some secretary. Not the one who'd crunched the derivatives that made the deal sing. Rage bubbled up. Hot and unfamiliar. And what do you get out of this? Eve? A promotion? Harlan's corner office while I'm rotting in Rikers. Her eyes flashed hurt. Or was it calculation? Survival? For both of us. Eventually. Trust me.
Luce.
We've always had each other's backs. That was the hook that sank deepest. Trust. The currency of our friendship, cashed out now for her solo flight. I wanted to slap her, to scream that she'd just confessed to framing me. But the storm outside mirrored the one in my chest. Instead, I nodded.
Numb. Fine.
What do I need to do? Nothing. Go home. Act normal. I'll handle the cleanup. She hugged me then, fierce and fleeting, her cheek cold against mine. Love you.
Sis.
We'll laugh about this over margaritas in Cabo someday. I left her there, the door clicking shut like a vault sealing my fate. The cab ride home was a blur, the city lights streaking like accusations. By the time I hit my loft, the bourbon called again. But sleep came first, fitful, haunted by dreams of Evelyn's smile twisting into a snarl. The next morning, the hammer fell. My inbox exploded. HR summons.
Frozen assets.
Whispers in the break room about that bitch in analytics. I played it cool, striding into Harlan's office with my head high, only to find Evelyn there, perched on the edge of his desk like a queen. Lucia, Harlan boomed, his ruddy face creased with feigned concern. He was the classic Wall Street whale, cufflinks from his Yale days, a gut from too many steakhouse deals. We've got a situation. Evelyn met my gaze, her expression a mask of sorrow. The auditors.
Luce.
It's bad. They laid it out. Discrepancies in the Qatar transfers. all time-stamped under my credentials. Intentional, Harlan said, sliding a printout across the desk. My signature, forged. But who'd know? Evelyn had access to my digital certs. We'd shared everything in our sisterhood. I didn't, I started. But Evelyn cut in, her voice soft, sympathetic. We know you're under pressure, Lucia. The long hours.
But this.
It's fraud. Federal. The room spun. Harlan's eyes flicked to her. A silent good girl. And I saw it then. The affair wasn't just rumor. She was his golden ticket, and I was the loose end. By noon, I was escorted out in a security-issued cardboard box, my badge yanked like a bad tooth. The elevator descent felt like freefall, colleagues averting eyes as if I'd sprouted horns. Outside, the autumn chill bit through my blouse. Paparazzi already sniffing, Wall Street scandals moved faster than light. I didn't go home. I went to a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen. The kind with sticky floors and bartenders who didn't ask questions. 3 whiskeys in. My phone lit up. FBI en route. Say nothing without a lawyer.
E.
Betrayal tasted like ash. She'd fed them the script. Position herself as the whistleblower. And me, the fall guy, bearing the weight of our shared sins because she decided I was expendable. That night, alone in the dark, I made my vow. Not to the bottle, not to the ghosts of our friendship, but to revenge. Slow burn. Meticulous. The kind that leaves scars deeper than any courtroom sentence. Evelyn thought she knew me, the loyal analyst, the fixer. But she forgot the girl from Queens who'd grown up dodging her deadbeat dad's fists. The one who'd aced calculus while waitressing doubles. I was a survivor. And survivors don't fade quietly. First step, dig. I needed proof, not just of the fraud, but of her hand in it. The metadata she'd promised to scrub, if she slipped, there'd be echoes. I booted up my shadow laptop, the one-off books, encrypted like Fort Knox, and dove into the dark web forums where white-collar crooks swapped war stories. It took days. Holed up in an Airbnb in Brooklyn, living off takeout pho and black coffee. Evelyn's socials were a curated lie, brunches with influencers. Yacht pics from Harlan's Hamptons spread. But buried in the code of Vanguard's extranet dumps, I found it a ghost log, her IP pinging the server at 2:17 a.m. The night of the storm. She deleted the evidence.
All right.
Rewritten history to paint me as the mastermind. But she missed one thread, the CFO's access logs. Richard Voss, the grizzled watchdog who'd built Vanguard from a Lehman castoff. Old school, paranoid about backups. If anyone had eyes on her digital heist, it was him. I reached out through a burner anonymous tip, routed through VPNs in Estonia. Check your shadow server. October 15th, 2:17 a.m. Client relations login. Qatar fallout. No response. But I didn't expect one. Voss was a ghost. Rumors said he golfed with senators. Not emails. Instead, I turned the lens on Evelyn. Hired a PI on contingency ex-NYPD. Rates like a hitman but with ethics. Tony Russo. Built like a linebacker gone to seed. Met me in a diner off Flatbush. "What you got?" He grunted over eggs. "A snake in heels." "I need everything, calls, affairs, dirt." He eyed me. Fork paused. "This Harlan thing? Word on the street is she's climbing his ladder. But careful.
Kid.
Wall Street eats whistleblowers. Not a whistleblower, I said. Voice steel. A reckoning. Tony nodded, like he'd heard it before. A week later. Files dropped. Evelyn's burner phone logs. Text to Harlan laced with pillow talk and pillow promises. Miss you inside me more than the boardroom. Classy.
But the gold?
A voice memo from 2 nights pre-storm. Her and some low-level IT drone. Haggling over metadata magic for $5,000. It wasn't ironclad, but it was a crack. Enough to start prying.
Meanwhile,
the feds circled. Subpoena for my bank records. Agents tailing my mom's brownstone. I lawyered up, public defender with a Yale sheen, courtesy of pro bono dreams, but it felt like delaying the inevitable. Evelyn's immunity deal leaked via a source close to the investigation, painting her as the hero who uncovered the scheme. The press ate it up. Wall Street femme fatale turns tables on fraudster friend. My face splashed across the post. Caption: the calculator con artist. Neighbors who'd waved hello now cross streets. My mom called. Voice breaking. Lucia. What did you do? Nothing.
Ma.
It's a setup. But doubt crept in. The kind that whispers maybe you deserved it for bending the rules once.
No.
Fuck that. I doubled down. Tracked Evelyn to a gala at the Met, black tie. Champagne flutes clinking like false teeth. I crashed it incognito. Thrift store gown. Wig from a Canal Street stall. Badge swiped from a drunk waiter. Slipped into the coat check. Waited. She glided in on Harlan's arm. Emerald gown hugging curves I'd envied in college. Laughing at his jokes. Flashing that megawatt smile for the cameras. My blood boiled. But I played shadow. Snapping pics with a hidden cam in my clutch. Later, as the crowd thinned, I cornered her in the ladies' lounge, marble sinks. Mirrors like Judgment Day. She was reapplying lipstick, humming some pop tune, when I stepped from the stall. Lucia? The tube clattered into the basin. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. What the fuck are you doing here? Same as you. Pretending. I locked the door behind me, the click echoing. Nice dress. Harlan's taste. Or yours for climbing. She recovered fast. Straightening like a cobra. Get out. Security's one scream away. Before or after I email these to the DA? I waved my phone. The voice memo cued. Your little IT side hustle. $5,000 for a frame job. Sounds like obstruction to me. Bluff. Tony's files weren't ready for prime time, but she paled. You wouldn't. We're friends. Friends don't delete evidence to bury each other. I stepped closer. The air thick with her fierce sweat under Chanel. You walked in right after. Didn't you? On my terminal. But Voss? He saw you. His logs don't lie. A flicker, guilt?
Panic?
I did it for us. You were sloppy.
Luce.
The approvals. My approvals? The ones you rubber-stamped in my name while I was covering your ass with the Qatar Emir's gifts? I'd found that too, the Birkin bag. The weekend in Dubai. Bribes she'd pocketed, leaving me to initial the fallout. She lunged for the phone, but I sidestepped, slamming her against the sink. Not hard, enough to rattle. Here's the deal.
Eve.
Recant. Tell the feds it was joint. Or this hits every news desk from here to DC by dawn. Her breath hitched. Tears welling, real ones. This time.
Please.
Harlan. He's promising partnership. I can't go down. Neither can I. Stalemate. The mirror reflecting two women who'd once been unbreakable. Now fractured porcelain. She nodded. Finally. Okay.
I'll
Talk to my lawyer. I unlocked the door, slipping out into the gala's dying hum. Victory? Or just round one? But as I melted into the night, tail lights blurring in the rain, I felt the twist of the knife she'd left buried. The voice memo? It was gone from my phone.
hacked.
Remotely wiped while we danced our hate tango.
She was always one step ahead.
Time to even the score. The weeks blurred into a haze of depositions and dead ends. The kind of legal limbo that chews up souls in America's justice meat grinder. My lawyer, Sarah Klein, sharp as a stiletto, with tattoos peeking from her cuffs, fought like hell. But the evidence stack was a house of cards built on Evelyn's lies. Forged timestamps. Witness statements from interns she'd greased with gift cards. The feds bought it hook,
line,
and sinker, painting me as the mastermind who'd lured my naive friend into the web. They're gunning for a plea, Sarah said over stale courthouse coffee. Her voice a low growl. 10 years. Minimum. Voss is testifying tomorrow, says he caught a whiff of something off. But your login sealed it.
Voss.
The ghost CFO. I'd pin my hopes on him. That anonymous tip a Hail Mary. If he'd seen Evelyn's midnight raid. Why the silence? Was he in on it? Another layer of the rot? I leaned back in the vinyl booth. The diner's grease scent clinging like despair. What if I can flip him? Sarah arched a brow, stirring her mug. The man's a vault. Ex-CIA. They say. But if you've got dirt. I didn't. Not yet. But Tony Russo was on it. Tailing Voss's routine, dawn jogs in Prospect Park, steak frites at Peter Luger, anonymous AA meetings in Chelsea basements. Guys clean as a whistle, Tony grumbled over an encrypted call. But his wife's got MS bills piling up. Motive if you need leverage.
No.
Blackmail was Evelyn's game, not mine. I needed truth, raw and unfiltered, to crack the facade. That night, I staked out Voss's brownstone in Park Slope, tree-lined streets where nannies pushed bugaboo strollers and hipsters sipped out lattes. A world away from my unraveling. Rain slicked the sidewalks again, turning the world reflective and treacherous. I huddled in a rented Prius, binoculars fogging with my breath, when his garage door hummed open. He emerged, silver fox in a Burberry trench, scanning the shadows like a hawk. Our eyes met through the tint, mine widening, his narrowing to slits.
Shit.
Busted. The Prius door flew open before I could bolt. MS. Ramirez, he said, voice gravel over ice, sliding into the passenger seat uninvited. Up close. He was older than the photos, 70 if a day. Lines etched like fault lines. Or should I say, the ghost tipster? My heart jackhammered. Mr.
Voss. I.
Save it.
Drive.
No gun. No threat, just command. The kind honed in Langley war rooms. I pulled out, merging into the sparse traffic. Destination nowhere. You saw her. Evelyn. Deleting the logs. He lit a cigarette, contraband in NYC. But who cared? Cracking the window to exhale smoke like a dragon. Saw enough. 2:17 a.m. Her pretty little fingers dancing on your terminal. Thought it was overtime at first. Then the timestamps flipped like bad magic. Relief flooded. chased by dread. Why didn't you say anything? The feds. Politics. Lucia. He ashed into an empty Starbucks cup. Eyes on the rear view. Harlan's a donor. Big fish in DC ponds. And your friend's got tapes. Not just his senators, regulators. The kind that topple administrations. So she was playing 4D chess while I fiddled with checkers. And me? Collateral?
Worse.
Useful. He turned, piercing me with those pale blues. You take the fall. The firm settles quiet. No headlines. No dominoes. But I don't like messes. Especially when they smell like betrayal. Betrayal. The word hung, validating the rot in my gut. Help me.
Then.
Testify. It's the truth. He chuckled, dry as autumn leaves. Truth's a luxury in this town. But leverage? That's currency. He pulled a USB from his coat pocket, matte black and heavy. Backup of the original logs. Untouched. Enough to unravel her edits. Pin the forgeries square on her. My fingers itched for it. What's the catch? Walk away clean. No revenge. You blow this wide. It burns everyone, including innocents. His gaze softened. Just a fraction. My wife's treatments. Vanguard's the golden goose. Innocents. Like the retirees whose pensions we'd gambled on derivatives? Or the Qatari dissidents funneled cash that funded crackdowns? No such thing, I muttered. Not anymore. He pressed the drive into my palm. Cool metal like a pact with the devil. Your call.
Kid.
But remember, revenge is a debt that compounds. He vanished into the night 2 blocks later, trench flapping like bat wings. I drove home to the Airbnb. Now my bunker, plugging in the drive with hands that shook. Files bloomed. Timestamps. IPs. Evelyn's login blooming like a smoking gun. Jackpot. But as I copied them to my shadow drive, a shadow of my own stirred. A notification pinged. Intruder alert. Device compromised. My laptop froze. Then rebooted to a single desktop icon. A video file. Thumbnail of Evelyn's smirk. I clicked. Dread pooling. It was me in the Met Lounge, slamming her against the sink. Audio crisp. My threats. Her sobs. You wouldn't.
Cut to black.
Then text overlay. Drop it.
Luce.
Or this hits TMZ. Love.
E.
She'd bugged the phone.
Or the PI.
Tony? No, too sloppy. Harlan's resources.
Probably.
Checkmate again. Rage warred with despair. I smashed the burner. Shards scattering like my resolve. Sarah got the anonymized files next morning. Voss's anonymous source cover. The feds paused, gears grinding. Evelyn's immunity wobbled. Her lawyer scrambled for spin. But she didn't fold. Instead, escalation. My mom's shop vandalized. Queen's florist. Windows smashed. Traitor scrawled in red. Ma called sobbing. Lucia. They're saying on the news you're mixed up with terrorists. Qatar. Lies. Amplified. Evelyn's PR machine. Churning doubt. I flew to Queens, boarded up the glass myself. Glue and grit holding back tears. It's okay.
Ma.
I'll fix it. You always do.
Mia.
She hugged me, rosary beads digging into my back. But who fixes you? No one. That's when the dark thoughts crystallized. Not just exposure, but ruin. Make her feel the isolation, the whispers, the slow suffocation of a life unspooling. I went deeper. Hacked her emails, not ethically. A dark web script Tony sourced for defensive purposes. Goldmine. Love notes to Harlan. But also to others, a senator's aide. A rival firm's MD. Serial ladder climber. Trading flesh for footing. And buried deeper. The secret she'd buried with me.
College.
Sophomore year. The party where we'd blacked out on spiked punch. Woke to blood on sheets. Her hysterics. I can't tell anyone. My dad's reputation. Rape. Unreported. Because who believes the party girl? I'd held her. Vowed silence. Even forged the alibis when campus PD sniffed. Bore the whispers, sluts, for us both. My GPA tanked that semester. Internships lost to the stigma. Her? She pivoted. Aced interviews on charm alone. She'd owed me then.
Now.
She repaid with chains. Twist the knife. Leak the pattern. Not the assault, that was hers to own, but the affairs. The tapes she wielded like weapons. Frame it as Me Too adjacent. Anonymous posts on Glassdoor. Reddit's r/Wall Street bets. Vanguard's vixen. Sleeping her way to the top. It spread like wildfire. Memes morphing her into a cartoon villain. Harlan iced her publicly, under review, while privately, I imagined chewing her out. Her Insta went dark. Friends ghosting. Satisfaction? Fleeting. Then the counterpunch. Feds raided my Airbnb. New evidence of obstruction. Sarah bailed me out. Face thunderous. They've got footage of you at the gala. Assault charges pending. Evelyn's video. Twisted. Self-defense my ass, she'd sold it as attack. Rock bottom. I fled to a motel in Jersey. Neon sign flickering, no vacancy, like a joke. Curled on the lumpy bed. I scrolled news. Fraud accomplice turns violent? My face again. Distorted. That's when Voss called from a blocked number. Voice calm as a confessional.
Told you.
Compounds. Fuck your wisdom, I spat. She's destroying everything. Join the club.
Pause.
Then, but if you want out, I gotta play. Off books. Intrigued. I listened. Voss had his own skeletons, 8 trades that bordered insider. Hushed up. But he had Evelyn's real ace, the full tape library. Stashed in a Swiss vault. Trade it for her a can't. Clean slate for all. Moral quicksand. Expose her. Expose him. And if I say no, then you drown alone. I hung up, staring at the ceiling stains like Rorschach tests. Revenge or redemption. The line blurred. Controversial as hell. No heroes. Just survivors picking shrapnel from wounds. Dawn broke gray. Decision made. Not Voss's way.
Mine.
Call Tony. Full court press. Everything you've got on her skeletons. Lucia. That's scorched earth.
Good.
Burn it down. The plan coalesced. Hit her where it hurt, reputation. Then roots. Dig into her family. The dad's suicide. Not just crash fallout, but whispers of molestation. Covered by Evelyn's silence. Ma's intuition. Confirmed by Tony Skip's trace. Old letters. Sealed files. I wouldn't air the rape. Too sacred. Too violating. But the rest? Fair game. Anonymous dossier to Harlan. The board, your star's daddy issues. The untold crash. It landed like a grenade. Board meeting leaked. Evelyn sidelined. Harlan raging. She called then, first in weeks. Voice slurry. Maybe wine. Maybe pills. You bitch. My life's over. Your life? Try mine. Static. Then sobs. Recant.
Eve.
Or it gets worse.
Can't.
Too deep.
Click.
Deeper? What now? I prepped the kill shot, the assault details. Redacted. Fed to a journo contact from NYU days. Wall Street betrayal, the friend who framed me after I covered her silence. But as I hit send, the motel door splintered. Feds. Badges flashing. Lucia Ramirez. You're under arrest for extortion and conspiracy. Evelyn. Again. She'd flipped the script, claiming I'd coerced her into the fraud. Handcuffs bit cold. The world narrowing to squad car blues. As they read rights, my mind raced. Twist incoming. The kind that splits loyalties. Voss, he was the ghost who'd walked in, not behind her, but beside me all along. And his play? A setup to launder his own sins through my fall. No one clean. Everyone complicit. The real revenge? Surviving to tell it. The holding cell smelled like bleach and broken promises. A concrete box in the bowels of 26 Federal Plaza where time stretched like taffy. I paced the 8x10, jumpsuit itching against skin that hadn't seen soap in hours, replaying the arrest like a bad loop, tactical gear bursting in, Sarah's frantic texts lighting my burner before they seized it. What did you do? What hadn't I? The dossier. The leaks, Evelyn's counterpunch timed like a pro. She'd lawyered up with Skadden ARP sharks, spinning my threats into a narrative of abuse, the loyal friend gaslit by the vengeful frauds too. Stockholm Syndrome in the C-suite. One headline crowed, turning our sisterhood into lifetime movie fodder. Sarah visited at dusk, her face gaunt under the visiting room's harsh glare, plexiglass smudged like a barrier to freedom. They're piling on RICO. Witness tampering. Voss recanted, says the drive was planted. Planted? By whom? Him. Probably. Covering tracks as the feds closed in. That son of a... Save it. She slid papers under the slot. Plea offer stark, 20 years. No parole. Sign. Lucia. Fight from inside.
No.
The word echoed. Defiant. She's lying. All of it. Sarah sighed. Maternal almost. Evidence says different. Your prints on the gala footage. The leaks traced to your VPN.
Tony.
The bastard had flipped. Or been flipped. Wall Street loyalty, paper thin. But as guards led me back, a new fish shuffled in, tattooed knuckles, eyes darting like a cornered rat. Ramirez, he muttered, voice jersey thick. Got a message from Russo. He says sorry. Feds leaned hard. Wife's cancer meds on the line. Cancer. Like Voss's wife. The rot spread. Tendrils choking the innocent. Tell him forgiven. But get word to my ma. Sell the loft. Cash out. Escape fund? Or pyre? Semantics. Sleep evaded. Replaced by schemes. Revenge evolved, not blunt force, but surgical. If Evelyn wanted war, I'd give her apocalypse. American style, cancel culture meets class action. The mob justice that devours reputations faster than trials. From the cell block library, yellowed law tomes and outdated PCs, I scratched notes on napkins, allies overlooked. NYU prof who'd mentored us both. Now tenured at Columbia, owed me a favor from a research bust.
The Qatar contact.
A diplomat's nephew I'd charmed over falafel, discreet, but vengeful. Words smuggled out via the fish. Burner drops in the commissary. Prof leaked syllabi on ethical lapses in finance. Footnotes winking at Vanguard. Nephew stirred Gulf press. American bank funds tyranny and frames women. Backlash brewed. Protests outside Vanguard's HQ. Free Lucia signs mingling with boycott Wallesti. Evelyn's face on picket placards. Photoshopped with devil horns. Harlan resigned for health. Stock dipped 8%. She was toxic now. Persona non grata. Her desperation leaked. Sloppy drunk tweet deleted at 3 a.m. Some people deserve what they get. Subtweet City. But the mob pounced, doxing her Hamptons rental. Eggs splatting windows. Schadenfreude soured quick. This wasn't clean, it was chaos. Controversial as hell. Was I hero or heel? Unleashing hounds on a woman who'd been assaulted. Broken? The twist gnawed. Our shared secret made me complicit in her silence. Her armor. By exposing fragments. Was I revictimizing? Doubt festered. But momentum rolled. Sarah smuggled news. Plea withdrawn. Trial date set. Jury pools poison your way. Keep pushing. Pushing meant risk. In yard time, chain link pen overlooking the Hudson's gray churn, I cornered the fish again. Russo back online?
Sorta.
Says Evelyn's cracking. Therapy sessions. Pills. Harlan dumped her, caught her with the senator's boy toy. Karma's bite. But the real hook, she's talking. To the feds. About you covering the... You know. The assault. Our pact. Shattered. Evelyn. Weaponizing trauma to flip the narrative. Lucia knew. Hid it to control me. Manipulative from the start. Gut punch. I'd borne that secret like a stone. Skipped therapy to keep her whole.
Now.
It was shrapnel. Trial loomed. Media circus swelling. Court TV vans clogged Foley Square. Pundits debating, feminist feud or fraudulent fury. No winners. Just sides. Team Evelyn decrying my bullying. Justice for Lucia chanting victimhood. Opening arguments hit like prizefight bells. Prosecution. Mia Spider. Weaving webs of deceit. Evelyn testified second day. Poise cracked but weaponized, tear-streaked. Voice quavering. She was my rock. Until she wasn't. The fraud. She pulled me in. Then when I tried to stop her, the threats. Gasps from the gallery. My lawyer objected, hearsay. Speculation, but damage bloomed. Jurors leaned in. Faces a mix of pity and suspicion. I took the stand day 3. Heart hammering under the wood-paneled glare. Sarah coached poise. But truth bled raw. Evelyn and I, we were family. Shared everything, ambitions, secrets.
Pause.
Eyes locking on hers across the room. She fidgeted, avoiding. And the Qatar deal? Sarah prompted. I flagged it. She overruled. Said it was the path up. Details tumbled. Bonuses. Bribes.
Her Dubai jaunts.
The jury shifted. Evelyn's mask slipping. Cross-exam. Her shark. Silk-suited predator. MS. Ramirez. Isn't it true you concealed a serious crime from your college days? One that scarred MS. Hargrove deeply. Objections sustained. But the seed planted, controversy crackling like static. Whispers. What crime?
Rape?
Evelyn's redirect was masterstroke, sobbed through the assault tale. Redacted but evocative. I trusted her. She made me bury it, then used it against me years later. Lies laced with truth. I'd urged silence, fearing scandal. But coercion?
No.
The courtroom split, women in the back row nodding empathy, men smirking skepticism. Recess called. I cracked in the bathroom, sobs echoing off tile, fists pounding sinks till knuckles split. Sarah found me. Breathe. We're turning it.
How?
Voss subpoenaed next, the ghost materializing in a charcoal suit, cane tapping like Morse. Under oath. He dismantled her, logs projected, her IP blooming guilty. Saw her delete. Plain as day. Walked in right behind, well, metaphorically. My office adjoins the server room.
Gasps.
Evelyn blanched. Foundation cracking. But Voss's eyes met mine. Apology? Warning? MS. Hargrove acted alone in the tampering. But the fraud? Shared sin.
Shared.
No absolution. Just complication. Jurors frowned, sides blurring. Climax built. Closing arguments. Sarah painting Evelyn as serpent, me as scapegoat. Prosecution countered. Mutual vipers. Trust toxic. Deliberation dragged. 3 days. Smoke signals via leaks. I paced holding. Ma visiting with empanadas smuggled in her purse. Proud of you, Lucia. For fighting. For what? Dragging her dirt into light. Ma cupped my face. Calluses from years clipping roses. Truth ain't pretty, but it's free. Verdict dropped at dusk. Not guilty on conspiracy. Hung on fraud mistrial. Evelyn? Charges refiled. Immunity revoked. Cheers erupted, but mine tasted Pyrrhic. Reporters swarmed. Feel vindicated? Complicated. I muttered. Flashing bulbs blinding.
Outside.
Rain again cleansing? Drowning? Evelyn waited by the courthouse steps. Alone. Cigarette trembling in manicured fingers. No entourage. Just defeat etched deep. Lucia. Voice small. Stripped. I stopped. Crowd parting like Red Sea. What? I'm sorry. Tears tracked mascara rivers. The assault. I twisted it. To survive. Survival. Our mantra. Weaponized. Too late.
Eve.
She nodded, flicking the butt into a puddle. But the secret? Thank you. For keeping it. Even now. I walked away. No backward glance. Victory? Or just pause? Twist waited in the shadows. Tony's final drop. Slipped to Sarah. A recording, not Evelyn's, but Voss's. Him and Harlan, plotting the frame from jump. Use the girl. Clean house. No one clean. The real betrayal? Systemic. A machine grinding women like us to dust. Rage reignited, but tempered. Revenge round 2. Not personal, but reckoning. Sue Vanguard Civil. Class action for the pensions lost. Expose the rot. Force reform. But Evelyn? She'd slither free. Or sink. Controversial end, no clear right. Just echoes. Freedom hit like vertigo. The world tilting wide after months in cages both literal and figurative. My Soho loft sold quick, cash for a fresh start in Austin, where the tech boom hummed without Wall Street's venom. Ma joined. Her florist dreams transplanted to a sunny bungalow. Roses blooming defiant. But sleep? Elusive. Haunted by courtroom ghosts and Evelyn's hollow apology. The Mistral morphed into media aftershock. Podcasts dissecting our feud, TED Talks on betrayal in the age of ambition. I dodged most, holing up with freelance gigs, data consulting for green startups. Ironic penance for my ledger sins. Sarah partnered up. Our firm a scrappy outfit fighting corporate behemoths, Klein and Ramirez. Litigators for the overlooked. Vanguard settled the class action quiet, $10 million to pensioners. My cut funding scholarships for Queen's girls in STEM. Reform whispers. Ethics audits.
Women on boards.
Incremental, but tectonic. Evelyn vanished from headlines. Resurfacing in tabloids. Rehab stint in Malibu. Finding herself with a life coach and kale smoothies. Harlan indicted separately insider trades. The tape's boss anonymously fed the SEC. He lawyered to a slap, community service, golf sabbatical. Voss, retired to Florida. Memoir brewing, shadows on the ledger. T's chapters online painted him hero. Us footnotes. I debated suing for libel, but Sarah vetoed. Let him rot in irrelevance. Peace? Not quite. The twist nod. That final recording of Pandora's box. Tony redeemed himself, vanishing to witness protection after flipping on a bookie's side hustle. His parting gift, Voss's full ledger. Digital breadcrumbs to a web of favors senators greased, regulators whined. Enough for a blog series. The Vault Secrets. Serialized on Substack under pseudonym. It blew up, NYT pickup. Congressional hearings. I watched from Austin, vino in hand, as the machine coughed up cogs, fines, resignations. Controversial? Hell yes. Pundit split. Whistleblower or wrecker. No heroes. Just humans clawing light from dark. But Evelyn. The loose end. 6 months post-verdict. A letter arrived, handwritten, postmarked Sedona. Loose, I'm sober. Writing a book. The real one. Our story. Unvarnished.
UNE.
I burned it in the backyard fire pit. Flames devouring ink like absolution.
No.
Some debts aren't shared. Yet fate, that cruel curator, looped back. Austin Conference, FinTech Disruptors. Ironic homecoming. I keynote on ethics and algorithms, voice steady, crowd nodding. Post-panel mingle, craft beers, schmoozes. Then, her. Evelyn. Leaner. Hair cropped practical. Eyes clear but shadowed. No entourage. Just a name tag. Independent consultant. Lucia. Soft. No plea. I froze. IPA halfway to lips.
Eve.
Awkward dance. Small talk over tacos. Skirting minds. Heard about the scholarships. Classy. Reparations. Blunt. She nodded. Sipping water.
I'm
owning it. The book deal fell through too toxic. But therapy? It's peeling layers. The assault. The climb. How I hurt you to heal me. Vulnerable.
disarming.
Part of me softened. The girl who'd held her post-party. Whispering you're safe. But the Avenger stirred. And the frame? The feds. Survival instinct. Twisted. She met my gaze. Unflinching. I recanted fully. Off record. Boss's play? He orchestrated the mistrial. Kept us both afloat while he cashed out. Twist confirmed. Voss. The puppeteer. walking behind us both. Why tell me now? Closure or karma? She slid a thumb drive across the high-top, familiar matte black. The originals. Untampered. For your archives. Or burn it. I pocketed it. Wait-like decision. Why? Because you bore my secrets first. Fairest trade. We parted ambiguous, no hug. No hate. Handshake. Electric with unresolved charge. She to a panel on redemption and finance, me to the airport. Austin's lights fading below. Back home. Ma waited with pozole steaming. Stories of new neighbors. A letter came. From her? Burned the first, this one. I read.
P.S.
To the book that wasn't. You were right. Ride or die. But sometimes, you ride alone to save the other. Tears then, hot and cathartic. Not forgiveness, too jagged but understanding. Betrayal's scar, faded but felt. Months later, headlines shifted, Evelyn's op-ed in the Times. From fraud to forgiveness, a Wall Street reckoning. Anonymous sources credited me. Implied. Controversial splash. Letters to editors split. Brave versus BS. I smiled over coffee. Substack humming with readers debating. No happy end. No tragedy, just life. American gritty. Flawed players in a rigged game. Flipping scripts till the credits roll. Voss's memoir tanked. Reviews skewering his self-serving spin. Last I heard, he was golfing in obscurity. Wife's treatments covered by black market deals.
Me?
Thriving, scarred but standing. Revenge, delivered, debated, dissolved into growth. The hook that started it, her deletion. His walk-in echoed as origin myth. A tale for barstools and boardrooms. In the end, no one fully right. No villain pure. Just us, navigating the gray, one controversial step at a time. And if Evelyn calls again, maybe coffee. Or maybe not. That's the beauty, the choice. Unbetrayed.